So I've been thinking a lot about just, everything that's been happening with, the police. This message is not sponsored by Yale, by the way. I'm just at work. But thinking of just how as psychiatrists we think about the fact that we live in a very sick society. It's been sick from its inception. Like, at the deepest level, sick at the spiritual level, at the psychological level, and then how that manifests, we see. We see what's happening, right? The mental health crisis is getting worse. All these things are just manifestations of a really deep issue, which race is a really, I think, potent manifestation of the way that race has played out in this country. Gets to the core of really how sick white supremacy is, really, and Frantz Fanon, who is like a legend psychiatrist, says that, change does not mean reform and change does not mean improvement. He also says that certain things need to be said if we don't want to falsify the problem. And I think as a community, at some point, we have to really look at what we've inherited and ask, is this really tenable, not just for people of African descent, but for like the survival of humanity, right? Like, it's really a fucked up system fundamentally, right? Like, the basic premises are delusional, in a lot of ways. If you really look at the core things that it promotes and what it views the human as, and so I've just been breaking away from this reality as much as possible to just think radically about what could another society look like. I don't have the answers, and it's not up to me to find the answers. I think it's up to all of us to evolve, because as we evolve collectively, our power to create, our power to imagine new worlds grows. And we know this system is going to fail. It will fall. Like, we do know this. It has been prophesied, and we see it cracking. We see the failures, right? And this is just historical. It's a cycle. But how do we, who are at the leading edge of this human evolution, right? Because the oppressed are always at the leading edge of human evolution. How do we come together to collectively start to create the solutions? Because the solutions will come from us. It will never come from the oppressor. It will always come from the oppressed. The oppressed are the ones who feel the evolutionary pressure. And so we are the ones that will take us into this new form of human. But what that looks like and how we create that is something we have to really start looking, we have to start looking at very seriously. And it starts at the spiritual level and then moves through the mental and the physical plane. So, I don't know. These are just thoughts that I'm having. I'm curious to hear what you all think, and how you all are making sense of all this.